So a disclaimer, I am not a doctor, dietitian, nutritionist, mental health professional, therapist of any kind. The information I share in this presentation is not my opinion. The information comes from reputable sources of information, and I will cite my sources. If you have medical conditions or health issues, always consult a professional before changing your diet or exercise regimen. Thank you. Now let's get started. I'd like to introduce you to a gentleman named Dr. Michael Greger, MD. He's the founder and president of nutritionfacts.org, which is a nonprofit. So does it really matter what we eat? Well, the good news is we have tremendous power over our health destiny and longevity. The majority of premature death and disability is preventable with a healthy enough diet. It's the food. So according to the Global Burden of Disease study, they cited diet as the number one cause of death and disability in the United States. Obesity is likely the main preventable cause of premature death. Low-carb diets based on animal foods, red meat consumption, milk, and eggs appear associated with higher mortality. Having high blood levels of phosphorus, which can come from junk food and meat, is an independent predictor for mortality. Declining kidney function, excess uric acid, and early puberty, each linked to higher mortality risk, can all be worsened by excess animal food intake. Inadequate fruit and vegetable consumption and not enough antioxidant-rich plant food appear to kill millions around the globe every year. So, you want to eat bright, colorful foods like fruit and vegetables, and you want to eat complex carbohydrates, whole plant-based foods like nuts, grains, seeds, potatoes, legumes, whole wheat pasta, rice, quinoa, barley, millet, tofu, etc. You want to stay away from the highly processed foods and the simple carbohydrates like donuts, cakes, cookies, chips. Stay away from the really oily, fatty, greasy foods. You want to stay away from meat, dairy, and eggs. Processed meats are classified as a type 1 carcinogen, and if I am remembering correctly, red meat is now classified as a type 1 or type 2 carcinogen or probable carcinogen. On gut health. So junk food disrupts healthy gut balance by killing off the good gut bacteria in your body. Diets containing animal products, alcohol, and sugar are wreaking havoc on human gut health, researchers have warned. In a study of more than 1,000 people, scientists found that processed foods have a link to harmful bacteria across all participants. These foods include meats, soft drinks like sodas, and other items that fall into the fast food cluster. And there's a link to that study if you want to research that more. The infographic shows you got an array of different gut bacteria that live in your body, your microbiome. Studies have linked diets that are high in red meat to colon cancer, heart disease, stroke, and other diseases. The reasons appear to be complex, and researchers have been working to understand the factors involved. One suspected compound is a carbohydrate, which is a type of sugar molecule called I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but you can see the short name for it is NEU5GC. And again, the source is the NIH.gov. So again, the microbiome and the hallmarks of cancer. So you can see the different, depending on what kind of microbiome you have in your gut, is either going to increase inflammation and risk for cancer, or it's going to decrease inflammation and decrease risk for cancer, as well as other autoimmune diseases and illnesses. So the number one cause of death in the United States is heart disease, followed by cancer. You also see stroke, which is also a vascular disease. You see Alzheimer's disease, diabetes. So you can see the majority of diseases that Americans are dying from, and quite frankly, if you do a little research, you'll see worldwide that most humans are dying from are diet-related diseases. Your genes do play a role in some of these, but by and large, what you eat plays the biggest role. And there's a source if you're interested in researching this further. So according to Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, heart disease is completely preventable and reversible. He has done extensive studies in this field. He has worked in this field for decades. He's a board-certified doctor. That's a picture of Caldwell Esselstyn right here. And has been associated with the Cleveland Clinic since 1968. During that time, he has served as president of the staff and as a member of the board of governors. He chaired the clinic's breast cancer task force and headed its section of thyroid and parathyroid surgery. He is a fellow of the American College of Cardiology. So he is a reputable source on this information. He's done the studies. So again, think about that. The number one cause of death in the United States is heart disease, and it's completely preventable and even reversible. So in regards to obesity rates in the United States, if you look at this chart from 1999 to 2018, you can see it's an upward trend. So this is showing that Americans are becoming more overweight, not less overweight. More obese, not less obese. In fact, 2/3 of adults are either overweight or obese at the time of this recording. And again, this is data collected by the CDC based on a survey of 5,000 US adults. And now we're going to watch a short video clip by Dr. Neil Barnard, MD.
I want to show you the cause of type 2 diabetes, all right? This is the same muscle cell, right? And up there I have glucose. The glucose is like gasoline. Gasoline powers your car. Glucose powers your cells. But the glucose cannot get into the cell without the help of insulin. The insulin hormone is like a key that attaches to these receptors, and once it attaches, it signals the glucose to come inside the cell, and there it is. It's coming in. That's normal. If you have type 2 diabetes, you have glucose, you have insulin, you have those receptors. That's totally normal. The only thing that's not normal is that black arrow. That signaling process is not working. Why? Because chicken fat, beef fat, fryer grease, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, all these fats are building up inside the cell, and it's making the cell not work anymore. So when I get the fat out of the cell, the diabetes can improve. And if I get to you soon enough, we can make it go away. Now, you might say, I never heard that before. I never heard a doctor talk about that. Well, that's because doctors didn't know about this. This was not known when I was in medical school. At Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, researchers started putting people into MR spectroscopy machines. And you can be 15 years old, you can be very thin, but if you have that fat inside your cell, you're going to develop diabetes in many cases. And now we know that. It makes makes old diabetes diets look ridiculous. Don't eat bread, don't eat rice, don't eat potatoes. That has nothing to do with it. All that will do is reduce the glucose, but that was never the problem. The problem is inside the cell. We have to get away from the animal fat completely, keep the oils low, be on a healthy, plant-based diet. And that's the treatment for diabetes, okay?
In regards to the environment, 5 reasons a vegan or a plant-based diet is better for the environment. More than 80% of farmland is used for livestock, but it produces just 18% of food calories. About 1/3 of the world's water consumption is for producing animal products. One of the leading causes of deforestation, for example, in the Amazon rainforest, is not for paper products or wood, it's to clear land for the grazing and raising of beef, of cattle. Animal agriculture is responsible for 18% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and some other studies you find it's even higher than that. Some studies you find will suggest that it's one of the leading contributors to climate change today, man-made climate change. Emissions for agriculture are projected to increase 80% by the year 2050 if we don't change our diets. So the takeaway here is you can feed more people with less water consumption on less land with a larger output of food production output on a plant-based diet than you can on meat, dairy, and eggs. Average daily water footprint of a diet. So a plant-based diet, 300 gallons. Vegetarian diet, 1,200 gallons. A meat eater, 4,000 gallons. The source for these numbers, as you can see on the bottom here, from John Robbins' pivotal book, Diet for a New America, which was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize for nonfiction. So again, it takes less water to produce a year's food for a vegan eating a plant-based diet than produce a month's food for someone who eats a standard American diet of meat, dairy, and eggs. Here are some reputable sources of information if you would like to continue researching this topic. The Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, which again, the president of that is Dr. Neil Barnard. Then you have nutritionfacts.org. That's by Dr. Michael Greger, MD. Another gentleman is Dr. Michael Clapper. There's his website and his initiative called Moving Medicine Forward. Another medical doctor, Dr. John McDougall. There's his website where you can learn more about this topic and the research he's done over the last several decades. I hope this information helps. Please like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment for future video topics you would like me to cover. Thanks for watching.